your care. You are our hope. Make the knowledge of you grow strong in all people so that you can find a home in us. Amen.
Amen.
During the summer months that we are currently experiencing, many folks travel. Some go to the mountains, some to the beach, some to see family, some for rest and relaxation, and some go to summer camp. Whenever people return home and come back to church, I love to ask them, where did you see God in your travels? I have heard the most wonderful stories about sunsets and sunrises, hikes to the top of the mountain, and about little baby turtles who have burst out of their nest and made their way down to the ocean. The most wonderful part of the story is when people's eyes light up and they exclaim, "Holly, surely God was in that place. I could feel God with me." That's just how it is in our story with Jacob this morning. Jacob was essentially running away from home. He had stolen from his brother. He had lied to his father. He was leaving the only home that he had ever known. And he was going off to a place that his family was from, but that he had never been. He was going to meet an uncle he didn't know what to expect, and quite frankly, who ended up being a bigger trickster than Jacob. While he was on his travels, it became nighttime, and it became very dark. And I'm thinking that Jacob was tired and scared. I think he'd spent a lot of time walking, which gave him a lot of time to think about what he had done, what he had been doing, if that was what he had wanted to do, if this is where he had wanted to be in his life at this point. And when he stopped for the night, he found a rock, a stone. Scripture says stone. And he used that stone as a pillow. And worn out from his travels, he fell asleep. And while he was asleep, he dreamed about the ladder where the angels were ascending and descending from heaven to earth. They were going back and forth again and again. And in this dream, God stood right next to Jacob. Not up in heaven, far away, where Jacob was staring and trying to see him through the angels. He was standing right next to Jacob. And God said to Jacob, "Know that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go. I will not leave you." As soon as Jacob awoke, he used that stone, his pillow for that evening, for that miraculous dream. And he built an altar with it in this world, in that place, saying, "Surely God is in this place." And I did not know it. How awesome is this place? And of course, because it's summer, I forgot to bring pictures to show you of places where I have seen stone altars that people have built in the world. I found them in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. I found them in Richmond, Virginia, in the city. I found them on the mountains, and I have these pictures that I will get to you at some point of these beautiful, people just take these stones. You know how when you're at the beach and you build those what do they call those little sand water castles where you dribble? The dribble castles where you just dribble them. And people take all kinds of little rocks and stones and they build these altars. And you can just be walking along the beach and you see these altars to God. We expect to find God when we go to church. We expect that when we gather together in places such as hours that we're going to pray and that we're going to worship and God's going to be there with us. That's our expectation. We don't always expect to find God in all the other places that we find ourselves. And we find ourselves in many places in this world. In schools, at work, in hospitals. Wherever we go, God is there. But most of us are greatly surprised to find that God is there. I remember the first time I found God in the laundry room. It freaked me out. I was just minding my own business, folding laundry. There he was. And then I found him at the homeless shelter. And that was awesome and life-changing and transforming. Meeting God in these unexpected places helped me to realize that God's promise to be with us and not leave us was true. It's true. And sometimes we just need a dream or an experience to help remind us. For a long time, I had felt called by God to tutor and mentor with Club Real. Club Real is an after-school program that's run by the County Department of Health Services. They help children in grades 1 through 12. They do tutoring, homework help, life skills, critical decision making. These are mostly children who find themselves at risk of being taken in by gangs or drugs or other things that wouldn't be healthy and productive for them to reach especially their God-given potential. And every time I thought, I'm going to show up and I'm going to volunteer in this program, and then something would happen and I wouldn't show up and I wouldn't volunteer and I wouldn't be a part of that program. Shortly after I was assigned here at St. Gabriel's, Father Daniel invited me out for a meal. And Father Daniel, as he does with all of us, sat me down and said, "So, what are you and God dreaming about lately? Tell me what your dreams are." And it took me by surprise and shock. I couldn't remember the last time someone had asked me what I was dreaming about and what God was dreaming about with me. And I didn't know what to say. I think I'd forgotten how to dream at that point. So Father Daniel and I agreed that we together would pray, that I would start dreaming again, and God would start dreaming with me again, and we would see where that took me and us. Shortly after that, I got a phone call from a person saying, "I really want to volunteer with Club Real, and I'm really scared to go by myself. Will you go with me the first day and help me?" Answered dream, answered prayer, I don't know. But I found myself accompanying someone else to Club Real. It was an immediate yes. This is where we need to be. So the first day that I showed up, a third grade boy, 9-ish years old, comes running into the room and he's yelling, "Can I read my favorite book? Can I read my favorite book? I already did my homework. Can I read my favorite book?" And the staff member, she smiled and she winked at me and she said, "Yes, you can. But first I want you to meet Deacon Holly because I think your favorite book is also her favorite book." Nelson, the little boy, couldn't believe that we would share the same favorite book. So he went over to the bookshelf. He pulls out this huge King James version of the Bible, and he shows me where his bookmark is, and he goes running off to the room to go sit and read his Bible. And the staff shared with me that every day he did his homework on the bus so that he could come and he could read the Bible, because the Bible was his favorite book. And if any of you have read the King James Version, I don't know, but in third grade, I have trouble reading it now. Third grade, wow. only time Nelson had access to this Bible was at Club Real. This was the only place he could read about God and God's stories of God's people. So I went home that evening and I had this cute little shark preschool backpack that I thought Nelson might love and the other kids might love. And I packed it with a few things that I had noticed we might need at Club Real. Some coloring books, some coloring pencils, mechanical pencils. They love mechanical pencils. And Father Daniel had given me it was about this big, a kid's bilingual storybook Bible filled with illustrated pictures. So I plopped that in there too, and I couldn't wait to go back and see Nelson again. So I show up at Club Real the next time, and Nelson comes running in, and I say, wait, Nelson, can I show you my favorite book? And he said, yes, show me. So I took out this storybook Bible, and his eyes lit up. He could actually fit this one in his hands. And he was flipping through it, and he's like, I can read it. I can read it in both languages. I see God. Can I go read it? And I said, of course. And he took off to his room, and he went, and he sat with that Bible. And at the end of that session, he came, and he said, I want to tell you what my favorite story was today. But I'm not done. Can I take it home? Can I please take it home? So I asked permission from the staff. I didn't know the rules yet at this point. And they said yes, he could. So I said, yes, go home. Keep reading. And when you come back, next time I see you, tell me, what are some more of your favorite stories? And then Holly woke up from her sleep and said, surely God is in this place. And I didn't know it. How awesome is this place? God was with Jacob. God shows up in dreams. God was real and present for Nelson. God is everywhere that our dreams can take us. And God reminded Jacob and us that no matter where we have been, no matter where we are now, and no matter where we are going, God promises that God will always be with us. Always. And I hope this morning that you all, whether you're a child this tall or a child this tall, will come and take a stone and take it out into this world. And when you see a place that wakes you up and you know that God is in this place, you put this rock down so that everyone knows God is in this place. Amen.
Amen.